Well, then you go on in New England. You're the head coach at the Patriots for 3 years. You take them to the playoffs 2 of the 3 years. Again, after the third year, another talk is coming, and after only 3 years, you're terminated. What happened there, and sort of what was the situation in New England, and why didn't it work?
That was much more difficult than the other one was, because I had been named like the interim head coach, and took over, and kind of took over in the middle of a run of guys and friends of mine. It was just a different situation, knew the people and all. I'd gone to San Francisco for 2 years at the Niners, and then got the job the year that New England played the Packers in the New Orleans Super Bowl, the one where Brett Favre's running around with his helmet over his head. Remember? You guys all know that the iconic picture? Yeah. Okay, well that's that game. The next, couple days later, I'm the head coach for the Patriots, and we had done all right. I wound up 27-21. We'd won a lot of games and done well. We'd won the division the first year and got the place the second year. Then the third year, we were struggling. Owner was building was in the process of building a new stadium, had a lot of pressure on him, was trying to get the money from the state of Massachusetts. If you remember, he promised that they were going to build a stadium in Connecticut. You don't know this, but in Hartford, and on the steps of the Hartford, Connecticut state capitol, we're coming to Connecticut and all that kind of stuff. And he knew he wasn't going there, and it almost killed him. And so as the season went on, there was a lot of pressure on it, and we wind up with 7-8 going into the last game. And we were just beat to crap, going into this last one. Didn't have the quarterback, didn't have the tailback, all kinds of problems. And I knew it was coming. I could tell it was coming. And so in the build, it was a home game, and I got Robert Kraft to come into my office and close the door, and I said, look, this is the last game that we're likely working together. I need to know what's going on. Tell me. Tell me if it's up, because give me that so that I can enjoy this day. And he, it was a very emotional setting, because I really liked the guy, and he liked me and all, but he had, we had to do it. He had to do it. And so in one of the great spite games of all time, I get fired right then, and he promised me not to say anything to anybody, because he had promised his kids he wouldn't tell anybody until after the game and all that. But I knew, and so it was one of the great wins. We beat the Ravens. The Ravens had won 6 in a row, and with just an unbelievable win. And then I'm done, And at the time, there was so much turmoil in our front office and from the ownership and from the head coach. There were so many issues about how we were to run the program and who was in charge and all that kind of stuff, that it had not run smoothly, and it had not been anywhere near the dream I had in my mind of how it would be coming after the New York situation, going to San Francisco, learning all the stuff from George Seifert and Bill Walsh, and ready to go. And it didn't. And he said, I want to run the organization just like he did at San Francisco. And it took me about 3 days to realize that he couldn't do it. And so everything kind of deteriorated, but we were still making it. And so it was a very trying time, And when it ended, I knew that I hadn't been able to, really carry out the whole approach and the philosophy and the mentality that I wanted to convey in this situation, which I was totally unprepared for at the Jets. And so as I'm fired, you have to go face the media, and you have to face, this is huge when this happens. I mean, it is a total shock to the system and your family and everybody. But I didn't sanction the decision. I didn't sanction the guy that made the call. And as I didn't sanction it when Leon Hess did it, because I knew we were just getting started and all of that, I didn't even waver, And when this one happened, I clearly recall this most difficult media in Boston. I mean, you can't even imagine how difficult it is relative to here. Anywhere other than Philadelphia, it's the worst. And to go down the row, the press row, and shake hands with all those guys and say, see you later, to guys that had, some guys had tried to vilify me and the whole thing, and some guys weren't, some guys were, were different. But to go through that, and I remembered that every hand that I shook, I was able to feel like, I'm going to see you guys again now. We're going to do something, this ain't over yet. And it didn't hit me. It would hurt, but it didn't kill me, And so I came out of there with a resolve, and in the next 10 months led up to this, this opportunity here. But I came out of there with a resolve that I didn't accept the fact that I failed it. And so with that thought, I was really able to handle anything from that point forward. That's what SC got. Got this hardened, exposed. I've already been dead, but not,
Right.
kind of guy coming into the program. And I was so ready for this. This has been easy in comparison.